Okay, guys, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Now, fasten your seatbelts. Here we go. Okay, guys, I'm back, and it is Saturday, December 13th, and I'm a little discombobulated because I just got back from the hospital, and let me tell you guys what is going on so that you will know. I'm going to jump over here because most people don't like to see that infinity screen, but as I noted on my channel last night, my mother had a very serious fall, and we took her to the hospital first thing this morning, and actually I just got back. I haven't been home that long. But I wanted to get a show done because it seems like I haven't done one for forever. Last night my mother fell. The night before that, the sound was acting up, so I didn't have a video. And the night before that, I can't remember what happened then, but I didn't record. So I thought I've got to get something out there tonight. So at least you know I'm here, I'm all right. But my mother did have a very serious fall. She was taken from the hospital where we took her by ambulance about 8 o'clock tonight and to a regional hospital where she will have surgery in the morning. Her left hip is broken. And my mother is going to be 84 in January. So, you know, it does worry me. I'd be lying to say that it doesn't. And I am quite upset about it, especially now they've taken her to a hospital that's about 2 hours away. So I'm going to be going back and forth a lot because they told me that she wouldn't be getting out anytime soon. So I may actually try to get a hotel close to there and take my computer and everything so that I can still record my show. But don't worry, I will be recording. If I miss a day here and there, I am sure that you will all understand what the issue is and why I'm not posting. But please don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. I'm committed to doing this, and I enjoy doing it, and I enjoy all you guys. And so I will definitely, I'm not going anywhere. So, all right. And I'm not a really, you know, what was that? I'm not really a subtle person. I'm not a subtle person. But, you know, when somebody asks me for a subtle call out, you know, I'll give it to them. So there you go. You know who you are. All right. Now, we're going to get into the news. I know Q posted tonight, but it was too late, and I had this prepared before to do my show, and so I just do not have time tonight to do the Q post because I've got to be up like 6 o'clock tomorrow to go for my mother's surgery. So, yeah, I'm sorry about that, but I am going to at least get us a little bit of news that I think is important. So here we go. Now, I hope that this is all still relevant because I've been gone for the day, and a lot of this I did late last night and early this morning. So I'm hoping that it all is still pertinent and that nothing major has happened to change what I'm about to say here. But this is from Charlie Kirk. And also I wanted to mention that I do have some people to thank, and I will be doing that at the end of the show, just so that those of you that are not into chatting, you just want the news, then, you know, but the people that are regular listeners usually listen right to the end. So that is when I will do it. And enough chatting for now, so I'll get into the news. Okay, this from Charlie Kirk. Breaking: after 13 hours of debate, Jerry Nadler has suddenly postponed the Judiciary Committee vote on articles of impeachment. GOP members were not given any input or explanation as to why. Well, I don't think that they need to inform the GOP of anything. This is the most unconventional, illegal act that has probably ever taken place politically in our country anyway. It's actually very frightening because if this can happen to President Trump, it can happen to any one of us. They want to put you down. They want to, you know, take you down. They want to take you out. This is what they do. They smear you, they involve you in whatever. And don't think that if it's tossed out of the Senate, that they won't come again and bring another set of impeachment articles to the Senate. They will. They've already said they would. So anyway, Democrats passionately defend impeachment all day Why are they avoiding the vote now? I think they're realizing that they made a very, very big error, really, because not only have they alienated the American people, the people are looking at the Democrats, even diehard Democrats are looking at the Democrats going, what? You've got people switching sides all the time. And so, yeah, why are they avoiding the vote now? I think that they're scared, and I think that they're trying to get their game plan together, because I don't think they had one. I think that they were just throwing stuff and hoping something would stick. Well, it's not sticking. That's the problem for them. All right, now let's look at this, because this is something that I read and I can't believe it, because it's Pelosi. I mean, really, honestly, I can believe anything when it comes to Pelosi. So let's take a look at this from the Federalist. Pelosi meets with Islamic groups about overturning Muslim ban impeaching Trump. The meeting between Pelosi and the Muslim advocates-led group represents yet even more evidence of the alignment of Islamists and as full members of the leftist political resistance to Trump. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi took time out of the House's ongoing impeachment effort to meet with, I'm sorry, I'm so distracted. Anyway, took time out of the House's ongoing impeachment effort to meet with a group of Muslim activists. The activists were seeking support for legislation to oppose the president's executive order 13780, banning travel from countries of national security concern. Critics insist on identifying the executive order as a Muslim ban, despite that it affects only 7 countries, 2 of which, North Korea and Venezuela, are not Muslim. The executive order was upheld by the Supreme Court in a 5-4 ruling. Pelosi attended a meeting on December 10th, organized by Muslim advocates 3 days ago. Organized by Muslim advocates, which led lawsuits against the travel ban. The group is known for opposing even the more reasonable counterterrorism efforts and played a key role in undermining Customs and Border Control efforts to screen for radical Islamists during the Obama administration. Pelosi met with a number of Muslim organizers and politicians from around the country, with both Sunni and Shia groups represented. A representative of the Open Society Foundation, that's George Soros' group, was also present, according to the pictures of the meetings provided by the Muslim advocates. The meeting was organized to encourage Pelosi to support H.R. 2214, the so-called No Ban Act, introduced by Representative Judy Chu, a Democrat from California. Well, of course, it's a Democrat, and of course they're from California. Not meaning any disrespect to you Californians, not at all. I respect the people of California. I don't respect the leadership. Anyway, by Judy Chu, which seeks to prevent the president from enforcing the travel ban and seeks to extend other limitations on the president's authority to restrict immigration for national security reasons. Chu has a history of close ties to Islamist lobby groups. The bill currently has 205 co-sponsors, all Democrats. Among the participants was Virginia State Delegate Ibrahim Samara, an anti-Israel boycott, divestment, and sanctions activist who won election to the Virginia House of Delegates despite a controversy over a history of anti-Semitic remarks made on social media and ties to known Hamas fundraisers. Samira drew national attention after he was physically removed from President Trump's speech at the celebration of the 400th anniversary of Jamestown after loudly disrupting the speech while displaying a sign that read, "Reunite my family." So let's go down to the bottom here to see if, I don't care who all the people were that were there. In addition to discussing the travel ban, the group spoke to Pelosi about perceived anti-Muslim bigotry. After the meeting, participant Qasim Rashid said, "We had the opportunity to speak with Speaker Pelosi and discuss the anti-Muslim violence we're seeing through social media accounts. Rashid clearly has adopted the progressive tendency to conflate speech with violence. Interestingly, Rashid does not indicate that he used the opportunity with Pelosi to address inter-Muslim violence and hate speech. Rashid is a Ahmadiyya Muslim, a minority sect that often faces threats of violence and discrimination from Islamist groups, even in the United States. So let me see here. Pressuring social groups, social media companies to engage in censorship has long been part of the Muslim Advocates' agenda. In early November, Muslim Advocates Executive Director Farhana Kara met with Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg about the issue and later celebrated the banning of figures like Laura Loomer and Alex Jones from the platform. The group routinely blames Trump's social media for anti-Muslim sentiment. The meeting between Pelosi and the Muslim advocates-led group represents yet even more evidence of the alignment of Islamists as full members of a leftist political resistance to Trump, which views him as a fundamentally illegitimate president. Despite having won at the Supreme Court, the administration's travel ban is treated as a de facto evidence for impeachment, and every president tweet as a coded message to white supremacists. Yeah, well, despite domestic Islamics positioning themselves as implacable, you can tell I'm out of it. I'm so tired. Foe of the president and all his policies, that's been evidence that the Trump administration has reciprocated, having so far declined to fulfill an earlier campaign promise to establish a commission on radical Islam. Instead, the administration continues to fund and meet with Islamist groups who are overt opponents of such a commission. The meeting with Pelosi suggests that while the Trump administration may be confused about how committed America's leading Muslim organizations are to his political defeat, the Democratic leadership has no illusions about whose side the Islamists are on. And isn't that why she went and pandered to them? Because they're on her side. See, that's how they view this. Oh, well, the Muslims, they agree with us. So yeah, let's get in bed with them. Careful who you lie down with. All right. Let's go back now, as if that wasn't bad enough. All right, and let's come down here. I keep hearing cats, but they're not in the room. Perhaps that's me. Maybe I'm losing my mind. All right, yesterday, now when was this? This wasn't yesterday, it was probably the day before, was kind enough to mail me, a Republican, this official form for an absentee ballot for the 2020 general election. See what's missing? Well, I sure do. Look at this ballot. It's an application for a party ballot. I am not registered with a qualified political party. However, for this March 3rd, 2020 presidential primary election only, I request a mail ballot for the 1. American Independent Party, whatever that is, the Democratic Party, or the Libertarian Party. But there's no Republican. They haven't even put that in there. Please tell me how that's legal in America. Seriously. Like, unless I'm like out to lunch and have been hiding under a rock somewhere, I think that they have to, by law, put in the Republican Party. What are they doing? I don't get it. Do you? Yeah, so this is it, and it's asking for his signature and date. How do you feel about that? That enraged me. All right, and this from Charlie Kirk. Sorry, I had to stifle a yawn there. Sitting around the hospital all day. It does you in. Breaking, Judiciary Democrats have just approved articles of impeachment against real Donald Trump by a 23-17 vote. This is the first party line impeachment in history. This is a historic miscalculation by Pelosi, Nadler, and Schiff. Radicals now control the Democrat Party. Disgrace. Well, I couldn't have said it better myself. In fact, I know I couldn't have said it better myself. Not even, well, certainly not tonight, but not even on a good night. So there you go. And let's look at this. Now, this is 1 minute and 37 seconds, so we're going to listen to it in its entirety here.
Your Nunes memo, dead on accurate, along with the Grassley-Graham memo. Jim Jordan, you had a great point today. They weren't just spying on 2 Americans. They were actually spying on 4 Americans. Devin, we'll start with you.
Well, Sean, remember what I said when we first came here is that the Steele dossier, the Clinton paid for dirt, and using that to create fake news, that wasn't the worst of it. Remember I said there was something equally as bad. Well, finally today, people get to know the truth. It's being glossed over. But here's what it was. The FBI ran spies, you can say spies, because it's people that were recording the conversations of both Papadopoulos and Carter Page. So this was before the FISA. So they were already spying before the FISA. Then there was exculpatory evidence in that for both Papadopoulos and Page, and that was never given to the court on the very first FISA. To me, that's even worse than using the Clinton paid for dirt. Now, what Horowitz found, he found even extra. It's like the cherry on top of the ice cream. Now we actually have one of the top lawyers doctoring the evidence. It doesn't get any worse for this for the FBI, and a lot of heads have to roll, and I hope Durham can get to the bottom of it. Well, I would just add to it, the spies that originally got the dirt on General Flynn way back in 2014 are the same spies that were spying pre the 31st of July, same spies that were spying in August of 2016. None of that evidence ever made it to the FISA court. So I think that's what they have to get to the bottom of, is who was running the spy ring.
Well, I think we know that. Obama. Yep, no doubt about it. That's who was running it. And Hillary. Obama, Hillary, but Obama was, the top dog then, so ultimately he was responsible. Yeah, it's sobering. Okay, and can't remember what this is, but it's got to be good. Oh, yes, I remember now. It is good. Virginia lawmakers threaten Second Amendment sanctuaries with National Guard. Virginia is a new battleground of the Second Amendment. After the most recent election, the state's House and Senate are both Democrat majorities, and they haven't wasted a moment in attempting to gut the gun laws in what has historically been a permissive state. And let's come down here. So, what are these new gun laws? The so-called assault weapon ban is SB 16 and has that perilously vague wording we all know to be incredibly dangerous. In some interpretations, this law, if it passed, would make illegal the ownership or transportation of any semi-automatic gun because extendable magazines are available for it. And you don't even have to have the extendable magazines. The Virginia Mercury reports the new Democratic majorities are expected to pass a variety of gun restrictions, including universal background checks, red flag law that would allow authorities to take guns from people deemed dangerous, and reinstatement of a one handgun a month law. But the proposed ban on particular types of firearm and the prospect of criminal charges for gun owners who didn't give them up seems to stoke the strongest outrage in the 40-plus rural localities that have declared themselves Second Amendment sanctuaries within the last few weeks. Of the dozens of bills already filed for the session that began in January, Saslaw's assault weapon bill was the most read, according to the state's online legislative system. Since the above article was written, it should be noted that the Second Amendment sanctuary counties are at 80 and counting. One sheriff has even vowed to deputize citizens should these unconstitutional laws pass, and the public outcry, Governor Northam has said a provision will be added for current gun owners. In this case, the governor's assault weapons ban will include a grandfather clause for individuals who already own assault weapons, with the requirement that they register their weapons before the end of the designated grace period. Northam spokeswoman Alina Yarmosky said in a statement Monday evening, "Good try, but no cigar." We've written before about the Second Amendment sanctuaries popping up across the nation, and now Virginia is joining the fight. According to Gun Rights Watch, practically the entire state is saying no. Well, we shouldn't have Second Amendment sanctuaries because it's in the Constitution. And all of the states are under the Constitution. So what is the issue? What is it that they don't understand about the Second Amendment? Because maybe they need to be schooled on it. Really. Because they just seem to think it's theirs to decide whether, well, I don't know. I don't know if we should give them their Second Amendment rights or not. That's not an option. It's not an option. It's a right for all Americans to own guns. Now, yes, I can understand if you're mentally ill or you've got, you're going around saying, well, I just want to kill people. Well, yeah, you might want to take that person's gun away, but only under very serious conditions. I mean, this is unbelievable. It's like, but you know what? It's like, our right of free speech. They're taking that away from us. And effectively, they already have. And it happened quickly, very, very quickly. In fact, it's happened in the 2 years since I've been doing this. It's happened because it wasn't there when I started this. No, it wasn't. But it didn't take it long to start trickling in, and it just got worse and worse and worse, and it doesn't seem to be getting any better. So, yeah, these people are something else. So, says now the state legislature is threatening the sanctuary counties and officials. Virginia Attorney General Mark Herring said that the gun owners are being ginned up by the gun lobby and had a few words to say about the rebellion. The resolutions that are being passed are being ginned up by the gun lobby to try to scare people. What we're talking about here are laws that will make our communities and our streets safer. How, they use the same stuff all the time. Like, these people have no originality at all. Like, come on. Well, it's going to make everybody safe because if nobody has a gun, nobody will get shot. Yeah, well, only the criminals will have guns. You're right. It'll make the streets, safe because the criminals are going to kill everybody. Well, then they'll kill each other. So the streets will never be safe. Anyway. How exactly do they plan to enforce those laws? One representative hopes that the law enforcement officers will just resign. I would hope that they either resign in good conscience because they cannot uphold the law, which they are sworn to uphold, or they're prosecuted for failure to fulfill their oath. Democratic Virginia Representative Jerry Connolly told the Washington Examiner for local county police who may refuse to enforce future gun control measures, the law is the law. If that becomes the law, you don't have a choice, not if you're a sworn officer of the law. So how is it? And you know what? I'm asking in ignorance because I don't know. But I am under the assumption, maybe erroneously, that the Second Amendment it's constitutional, so it's federal. So this is a federal law that all states have to obey. Am I wrong in that? Like, am I living in bizarro world? I don't know. Maybe I am wrong in that. Maybe one of you guys can school me in that because as far as I'm concerned, if it's in the Constitution, it's not arguable. It's the Constitution. It's one of our rights. Anyway, I'm 99.9% sure that any sheriff who has supported such a motion is not going to say, oh, it's the law. My bad, Jerry. Representative Donald McCutcheon believes cutting off state funds would do the trick, and if that doesn't work, he has another suggestion that is far more drastic. McCutcheon also noted that Democratic Virginia Governor Ralph Northam could call the National Guard if necessary. And ultimately, I'm not the governor, but the governor may have to nationalize the National Guard to enforce the law, he said. That's his call because I don't know how serious these counties are and how severe the violations of law will be. But that's obviously an option he has. So if the police force refuses to go into private citizens' homes and confiscate their firearms, they'll be fired. And if that's not going to work, they're going to call up the National Guard to go door to door. Well, that's lovely. That's not going to end well. I can tell you that much. Bringing in the National Guard to confiscate guns or override sanctuaries could only end one way, in bloodshed, although one must wonder whether the National Guard members would comply with the governor over their friends, families, and neighbors. It's going to get ugly fast. As serious as these legislators are about getting guns off the street, Virginians are equally serious about defending their right to bear arms. It's the ultimate game of chicken. It looks like we really have reached the point of out of my cold, dead hands. Virginia gun owners, myself included, have no intention whatsoever of complying with this gun grab, and no conciliatory, you can keep them, but you have to register them, gesture is going to suffice. The only question remaining is, who's ready to die on this hill? I pray it doesn't come to that. I really do, because if they start it in one state, well, you know all the blue states are going to follow. You know that. So not good there. Not good at all. It's not a good development. And maybe some of you guys in Virginia can weigh in on that. How do you feel about it? What do you think is going to happen? Your comments are always welcome. So let's go back and... No, really, let's go. I hear the cat somewhere. It's Phantom Cat. All right. And this should make everyone happy. And this is from today. Oh, wait, is today the... No, it isn't. It is. Today is the 14th, not the 13th. See? I've been really discombobulated. Okay, well, it's the 14th. Did you know that? I bet y'all did. I'm the only one that didn't. That doesn't look too good, does it? Rudy Giuliani can barely contain himself over his Ukraine findings. Now, let's see what those findings are, shall we? Rudy Giuliani is grinning like the Cheshire Cat, his standard smile. For the past several weeks, the personal attorney to President Trump has been in Ukraine, interviewing witnesses and gathering evidence to shed light on what the Bidens were up to during the Obama years and get to the bottom of claims that Kiev interfered in the 2016 U.S. election in favor of Hillary Clinton. He has enlisted the help of former Ukrainian diplomat Andriy Telesenko to gather information from politicians and ask them to participate in a documentary series in partnership with One American News Network, which has also made the case for investigating the Bidens, as well as Burisma Holdings, the natural gas firm which employed the son of a sitting U.S. vice president in a case which reeks of textbook corruption. And according to the Journal, Giuliani will present findings from his self-described secret assignment in a 20-page report. Trump and Giuliani say then Vice President Biden engaged in corruption when he called for the ouster of a Ukrainian prosecutor who had investigated a Ukrainian gas company where Hunter Biden served on the board. The Bidens deny wrongdoing. How on earth can they deny wrongdoing? Oh, there's something, aren't they? The Bidens deny wrongdoing, and ousting the prosecutor was a goal at the time of the U.S. and several European countries, according to the Wall Street Journal. Note the Wall Street Journal's use of straw man when they write the allegations of Ukrainian election interference are at odds with findings by the U.S. intelligence community that Russia was behind the election interference. Yeah, that's definitely the use of a straw man. You know, there's all these, when you study logic, there's all these different ways that you can tell when somebody is, you know, not using logic, and that's one of them, the use of a straw man argument. Apparently, the three journalists who collaborated on the article didn't get the memo that two countries can meddle at the same time, nor did any of them read the January 2017 Politico article, Ukrainian Efforts to Sabotage Trump Backfire, which outlines how Ukrainian government officials conspired with a DNC operative to hurt the Trump campaign during the 2016 election, a move which led to the disruptive ouster of campaign chairman Paul Manafort. Yeah. Telesenko, the former diplomat, tells the Journal that the plans The plan for the series was conceived during the impeachment hearings as a way for Giuliani to tell his side of the story. The former Ukrainian diplomat flew to Washington on November 20th to film with Giuliani, while in early December he accompanied America's mayor on the Kiev trip, stopping in Budapest, Vienna, and Rome. Upon his return to New York on Saturday, Giuliani says he took a call from President Trump while his plane was still taxiing down the runway, according to the Wall Street Journal. "What did you get?" Trump asked. "More than you can imagine," answered the former New York mayor, who gained notoriety in the 1980s for taking down the mob as a then federal prosecutor. Yeah, that guy's a formidable enemy. According to the 77-year-old, not an enemy of ours. Thank goodness. According to the 77-year-old Giuliani, Trump instructed him to brief Attorney General William Barr and GOP lawmakers on his findings. Soon after, the president then told reporters at the White House, "I hear he has found plenty." Rudy has been working on the project for a while. In late January, he conducted phone interviews with former Ukrainian prosecutors Viktor Shokin and Yuri Lusenko. On the call was George Boyle, Giuliani's chief operating officer and director of investigations. Boyle started as a New York Police Department beat cop in 1987 and was promoted to detective, eventually joining the Special Victims Squad. In short, the ever-grinning Giuliani has some serious professionals. Giuliani has some serious professionals working on this. When he believes he's right, he loves taking on fights, said longtime Giuliani friend Tony Carbonetti. Thus, that said, Giuliani's efforts have not gone off without a hitch. In October, two associates, Lev Parnas and Igor Fruman, both of whom assisted with his Ukraine investigation, were related in October on campaign finance charges. Both men have pleaded not guilty, while Giuliani denies wrongdoing and says they did not lobby him. Parnas, notably, was also on the January call with Shokin and Lusenko as a translator. And let's come down here because this could be extremely important for what we're facing. In pressing ahead on Ukraine, Mr. Giuliani has replaced the translation skills of Messenger, Parnas and Fruman with an appointee. With an app he downloaded that allows him to read Russian documents by holding his phone over them. Wow, that's pretty cool. But on his recent trip, he said, despite whatever else you can say, I missed them. Trump opponents insist Giuliani is conducting Trump opponents insist Giuliani is conducting shadow foreign policy and orchestrated the ouster of former U.S. ambassador to Ukraine, Marie Yovanovitch, who Ukraine's new president, Vladimir Zelensky, complained on a now famous July 25th phone call, accused of not recognizing his authority. That's all news to me. Anyway, in the impeachment hearings, witness accused Mr. Giuliani of conducting a shadow foreign policy and orchestrating the ouster of the U.S. ambassador to Ukraine. He was described as problematic and disruptive, and in testimony that cited former National Security Advisor John Bolton, likened to a hand grenade that's going to blow everybody up. Mr. Giuliani has said he kept the State Department apprised of his efforts and that he was working at the president's behest. Wall Street Journal. Just having fun while Dems and friends try to destroy my brilliant career, Giuliani wrote in a text message while conducting his investigation overseas. You know, I like his spunk. I really do. 77 and he's as spunky as ever. All right, let's go back now. That's going to turn out to be something huge. It is. I feel it. Now this by Representative Doug Lamborn, the jerry-rigged Judiciary Committee passed both articles of impeachment against Donald Trump with 0 Republican votes. Dems have failed the people and shamed the Constitution. So much for Pelosi saying impeachment should be compelling, overwhelming, and bipartisan. Yeah, it's anything but. Oop, that's my phone. Sorry. I had it turned up just in case it was an emergency, and actually it kind of is, but I'm going to keep going for a little while and then I've got to return that call. All right, and let's look at this. Yes, by the way, my my app is dogs barking in a symphony. You couldn't find any cats barking. I don't know where that came from. All right. All right. You know what? This might have to wait because this is quite in depth. So I'm going to wait on that one, and that might take a whole program by itself. And oh yes, you'll find this interesting. I think you'll find this very interesting. Husband of Democrat in impeachment hearings took $700,000 from firms tied to Ukrainian oligarch accused of ordering contract killings, reports. Yeah, and that's something. The husband of Democrat Representative Debbie whatever her middle name is, I'm going to call her Debbie Powell, who sits on the House Judiciary Committee, reportedly took $700,000 from firms connected to a Ukrainian oligarch who has allegedly been accused of ordering contract killings. Are all the Democrats in bed with Ukraine? Because it's beginning to seem that way to me. Seems like they've all kind of prospered illegally from their positions. Anyway, Democrats are set to move their impeachment hearings from the Intelligence Committee to the Judiciary Committee this week, with hearings to officially begin tomorrow, the Miami Herald reported last year. So there you go. Oh, and let's come down here. It says public records show that Debbie M. Powell's husband, Robert Powell, spent much of the last 10 years as general counsel for companies owned, at least in part, by Igor Kolomoisky, a wealthy Ukrainian businessman involved in banking and mining. In federal financial disclosures, M. Powell reported that her husband of 15 years earned most of their household income during the previous 2 years, at least $695,000, from a ferroalloys trading corporation associated with Kolomoisky. Yep, they're all in bed. The connections between Robert Powell and Kolomoisky were first reported by Daily Beast reporter Betsy Swan last year, who also highlighted some of the allegations that have been made against the Ukrainian oligarch. Swan reported in April 2018 that the FBI was investigating Kolomoisky over potential financial crimes, including money laundering, according to sources who say the probe is wide-ranging and has been underway for quite some time. Kolomoisky has not been charged with any crime, and a lawyer representing him said he denies any wrongdoing. They all do. Wouldn't it be refreshing if someone just got up in court and said, you know what, I did it. Dang it, yes, I did it. I'm guilty. Nobody ever does that. Why not? I mean, you know what? It's like, okay, guys, you know what, I tried, but you caught me. Yep, I did it. Never hear that, do you? Kolomoisky has a host of enemies. He's been accused of commissioning contract killings, Swan continued. And in 2016, Ukraine's central bank nationalized Kolomoisky's private bank because it didn't have enough cash. Billions of dollars disappeared from its coffers because it lent so much to Kolomoisky associates, according to the FT. The move was widely viewed in the West as a victory for transparency and good governance in a country whose politics are impoverished on both counts. So there you go. I don't think there's any more here. There is. My gosh. Robert Powell's connections to Kolomoisky could create a significant distraction for Democrats during their impeachment hearings, since they launched their inquiry into President Donald Trump over a July 25th phone call that he had with Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky. Democrats claim that Trump pressured Zelensky into investigating former Vice President and current Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden in exchange for U.S. military assistance to Ukraine, which Democrats claim amount to a quid pro quo or bribery. Well, it's anything but. So far, Democrats claim that Trump engaged in a quid pro quo or bribery have largely been substantiated in their public impeachment hearings, as multiple witnesses, including Ambassador Marie Yovanovitch, senior NSC official Tim Morrison, Ambassador Kurt Volker, and Ambassador Gordon Sondland, all testified that there was no quid pro quo during the phone call. In a separate report, the Daily Beast noted that the connections between Debbie Powell's husband and the Ukrainian oligarch left many concerned. Yeah, well, and Schiff is involved, and Joe Biden is involved. I mean, who else? There's a lot. Pelosi's son. I mean, John Kerry, his son. They're all got their fingers in the Ukrainian pie. Well, it's the last pie they'll be getting for a long time. Anyway, I think I'm going to, most of this you guys know. I don't need to belabor this, but I wanted you to be aware of that because that's very important. So she should not have been in on that at all, really. It's a conflict of interest, among other things. All right, let's go back now, see what else we have. And all right, you've probably heard this by now because I'm behind on the news, but Hunter Biden's new wife, yes, he has a new wife. So he's got 2 ex-wives and 1 wife. I think this will be his 6th child, either his 5th or 6th child. I'm not sure. I could be wrong about that, so don't quote me. But yeah, he's got a new wife, Melissa Biden, and she's pregnant. And I saw a picture of her when they were vacationing somewhere, and she looks very, very young and attractive. I'm not sure what she saw in him. Maybe she thought he had money. I don't know, but anyway, yeah, she's pregnant. So he's got his hands full. Yes, he does, because he's got child support to pay to the stripper that he knocked up, and he's got other kids as well from his first wife. He's a great guy, upstanding character. Okay, now let me see here. Some of this is just too much to get into. I'm not going to get into this, but I did want you to know Taylor Swift. She was let me go here, just briefly. Bad blood. Taylor Swift blames Soros family for underhanded deal to buy her music rights. Well, you know what? When you go to bed with the devil, what do you expect? Now, I normally would feel sorry for someone, but she knows what she's into, and she knows full well. She has gone from a very clean, country singer to what we see now. And Taylor Swift was awarded Billboard's Woman of the Decade on Thursday night. During her speech, Swift ranted against music industry manager Scooter Braun, the Soros family, and the Carlyle Group. Yes, she did. Swift called out Braun during her acceptance speech Thursday for the Woman of the Decade award. According to a report published by Rolling Stone, the Reputation singer also called out more parties involved in the dispute, including George Soros, 23 Capital, and the Carlyle Group. This just happened to me without my approval, consultation, or consult, Swift said during her speech, referring to the sale of her master rights to Braun. After I was denied the chance to purchase my music outright, my entire catalog was sold to Scooter Braun's Ithaca Holdings in a deal that I'm told was funded by the Soros family, 23 Capital, and that Carlyle Group. Well, here's the thing. She says, it just happened to me without my approval. I heard this story once about a frog and a scorpion, and I know I'm going somewhere with this. The frog, the scorpion says, I need to get across to the other side. Could I ride on your back? And the frog said, no, because you'll sting me and we'll both drown. No, he said, you'll sting me and I'll drown. And the scorpion said, well, No, think about it, really. Because if I'm riding on your back, I'm not going to sting you because then we'd both drown. And so the frog thought about it and he said, okay, yeah, all right, okay, get on my back. Well, halfway across the pond, the scorpion stings the frog, and as he's dying, he said, wait a minute, you promised me that you wouldn't sting me because we'd both die. And he says, I couldn't help it, it's in my nature. Right? So when you're dealing with the devil, so to speak, you're going to get burned. It's in his nature. It's in Soros' nature. It's in the nature of them to, do things like that. I wouldn't trust them as far as I could throw them. So I don't know why. She's got to have seen things. I don't know why she would have trusted them. But let's hear what she has to say here.
My entire catalog was sold to Scooter Braun's Ithaca Holdings in a deal that I'm told was funded by the Soros family, 23 Capital, and the Carlyle Group. There is a negative connotation or a ridiculous accusation or a rude stereotype that can be hurled at a woman for doing anything or not doing anything. Over the course of my life, it has occurred to me that we have a bit of a double standard issue in our society.
Taylor Swift waded right into politics at last night's VMAs.
So you voting for this video means that you want a world where we're all treated equally under the law. Regardless of who we love, regardless of how we identify.
Moments after winning for Video of the Year, the superstar used her airtime to push for the Equality Act.
My entire catalog was sold to Scooter Braun's Ithaca Holdings in a deal that I'm told was funded by the Soros family, 23 Capital, and the Carlyle Group. In music, we're always walking hand in hand with technology. And sometimes that is so awesome. Like how now we're able to just drop a song that we made yesterday. I've spoken out in the past about the future of revenue flow for creators and the songwriters and producers who are being left behind due to these rapid shifts and changes. I still don't think that record contracts or producers' agreements have fully caught up. And I hope.
Well, I'm not going to play all of that because it's not really. The point is that they did this without her approval, consultation, or consult, according to her, or consent. And, I'm saying, I wouldn't want that to happen to anyone, even though I'm not a Taylor Swift fan. I wouldn't want that to happen to anyone. But like I said, it's like the scorpion. Why'd you do that? It's in my nature. So if you're going to do business with these type of people, that's what's going to happen to you. And not only that, but she needs to be careful about mouthing off about it, or she won't be here at all. It wouldn't surprise me at all if we hear that she has been in an accident or something, passed away, nobody knows, commit suicide. So yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know about that in case you didn't know. And let's go back now and see what else we can get in. I know I'm doing kind of a really I could do like 3 shows, and if I didn't have to get up tomorrow, I'd at least do another one. But it is what it is right now. Oh, yes. Yeah, according to the DC Patriot, Prince Andrew's friend, Ghislaine, or Ghislaine, I think she pronounces it, is set to tell all to the FBI. Now, I wonder if let's go there, because that is actually quite important. Alrighty. Yeah, Prince Andrew's friend, Epstein, Madame Ghislaine Maxwell, set to tell all to the FBI. Well, this is getting interesting. Now, the Epstein Madam, who's been in hiding, is saying she's going to come forward and tell all to the FBI. According to The Sun in the UK, sources said the sex slaver's Madame, 57, aims to emerge from hiding within days. Sources say she is set to defend herself and the prince. She has told pals she thinks the picture of them with Virginia Roberts, who claimed she had sex with Andrew when she was 17, may have been doctored. I don't believe it. Can you trust her? Look, she's in this just as much as Epstein. So can we trust what she has to say? I don't think so. Anyway, it was said to have been taken at her London home in March 2001. A source said, like Andrew, she has no memory of it. Ghislaine, yeah, but isn't it interesting? When they were interviewing Andrew, he says, "Oh no, that wasn't me because that's upstairs in her house, and I was never there." Well, then, if he was never there, how did he know it was upstairs? How did he know that? So no, I don't believe that at all. Ghislaine thinks there's a lot of problems with the picture and it's very fishy. Well, of course she's going to say that. She's protecting Andrew, and probably for a hefty price. A source said, like Andrew, she has no memory of it. Okay, Ghislaine thinks there's lots of problems with the picture and it's very fishy. It's one of very few photos that does not bear a time and date stamp. The U.S. source close to the lawyer said Ghislaine is preparing to speak, whether by talking to the FBI or giving a statement to the media. She has to defend herself. She has no option. She will have to address this guilt by association. Tonight, Robert's lawyer, Josh Schiller, said Virginia maintains that photo of her with Prince Andrew is totally genuine, and it certainly looks genuine to me. It looked genuine to me, too. It didn't look doctored at all. And I think if it was, they would have found the proof of that somewhere. But I don't trust Ghislaine, and I think she's going to do whatever she can to protect her friend, Prince Andrew, because there's probably perks in there for her, if you get my drift. And I'm not talking sexual, I'm talking monetarily. So, yeah. I almost think she's worse than Epstein. Almost, because I don't know how a woman could do that to another woman. I don't know how a woman could take a young woman that is innocent and feed her to the wolves, literally. That woman has no soul, as far as I'm concerned. I don't know how you do that. I guess because your conscience has become so seared that it's no longer there. But let's go on now. Get into a couple other things. I'm going to have to cut it short very soon, but this is very important. So I'm thinking I should maybe look at that. Oh, yes. Look at this. And this from Jason says, well, isn't this interesting? Yes, Jason, it is. It says, say hello to Jeffrey David Cox, the head of federal prison guards in Manhattan. Jeffrey is the boss of the guards who were supposed to keep Jeffrey Epstein alive while in the Metropolitan Correctional Center in Manhattan. He is also friends with Bill and Hillary Clinton. Yeah. Let that sink in. So this guy right here is the guy that was tasked with keeping Jeffrey Epstein safe. He's the boss of the guards, and he's friends with Bill and Hillary Clinton. And look at them there. Oh, they look so happy and cozy together. Isn't that special? Now, I'm not saying that it was Hillary, but it was Hillary. No, I don't know that for sure. No, I don't know that, really. I think I'm probably right. Well, I don't know. I don't know if we'll ever know, to tell you the truth. I really don't. I think that there's something fishy with that. I think that the FBI is covering for something there, probably because he was a CIA asset and a member of Mossad. So I don't know. But time will tell eventually. Okay, now let's go back here. I'm kind of rushing because I want... Oh, yes, and the DC Patriot reports that the liberals now want a gender-neutral Santa Claus. Excuse me, because they don't have enough. They don't have enough to complain about. They don't have enough issues. You know, Pelosi doesn't have enough with her district and all that. No, they want a gender-neutral Santa Claus. And my guess is they will probably get it. Gender-neutral Santa Claus. It's getting insane. And okay. Yes, let's look at this. And Rudy nukes Democrats. Ukrainians find misuse of 5.3 billion. 5.3 billion with a B in U.S. aid during Obama administration. So that's $5.3 billion that was sent over to the Ukraine, which was misused and not tracked, because we already know that from Q, that's a lot of times how they hide things in foreign aid, because it's not tracked. 5.3 billion that should have been in U.S. coffers, sent to Ukrainians and misused. And by misuse, wonder what that means. Oh gosh, this wasn't supposed to happen. This was supposed to be Pelosi's week to shine. On Thursday, Speaker Nancy Pelosi announced that Democrats will move ahead on impeachment of President Trump for not giving away U.S. taxpayer dollars quick enough to one of the world's most corrupt nations. Democrats believe this is grounds for impeachment. Earlier this week, Rudy Giuliani met with Ukrainian officials to discuss the misuse of U.S. funds in Ukraine and the creation of a group to fight corruption in the country. Rudy Giuliani and Andrei Durkok via Facebook, according to a Facebook post by Ukrainian independent lawmaker Andrei Durkok, Trump attorney Rudy Giuliani recently flew to Kiev to discuss the creation of a group to fight corruption. In October, Ukrainian parliamentarian Andrei Durkok revealed in a press conference that Joe Biden was paid $900,000, like just shy of $1 million, for lobbying efforts from Burisma Holdings in Ukraine. So Burisma paid him to lobby for them almost $1 million to Joe Biden while he was vice president. Isn't that lovely? And now this. On Friday, Rudy Giuliani tweeted out a shocking disclosure. According to Rudy's sources, much of the $5.3 billion in U.S. aid Ukraine reported as misuse was given to the embassy's favored NGOs. At the time, Ambassador Marie Yovanovitch, witness for the witch hunt, was the ambassador. That embassy directed the police not to investigate. How do you like that? And Presidential Legal Obligations 101, Article 2, Section 3 of the U.S. Constitution obligates the president to investigate and ask for investigations of corruption in countries we provide funds to. Who ever heard of a president being impeached for carrying out his constitutional mandate? No one. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I'll tell you one thing. I don't believe he'll be impeached. I think they'll keep trying. I think if they toss it out of the Senate, that the Democrats will go right back to finding something and will try to find anything to pin on him. They're going to keep it going until the last dog's hung. Don't hang any dogs. That's not a good thing to do. But you know, and he's doing his job, which is something they haven't done for all the time that they've been in Congress. Unbelievable. And this from Rudy Giuliani. It comes as a huge shock to Democrats that real Donald Trump will ask for investigations concerning violations of U.S. laws and misused hard-earned taxpayer dollars. It's called his legal obligation under Article 2, Section 3 of the U.S. Constitution, ignored by Obama. Well, of course. I don't know. Obama probably didn't even know the laws. I don't know. That one is a tough nut to crack. Okay, now, let me see now. I am going to have to, the rest is all pretty involved, so I am going to have to cut it off here. I do have some phone calls I still have to do tonight, and I'm getting up early tomorrow, but I don't want to miss this. And because I've been holding this for long enough. And if I miss anybody, I promise you I will get you on the next show, because I didn't triple check this. I know the people that are there are right. I just don't know. There might be more. Okay, Yeah, I better change this date. I'll get us all confused. Okay, well, coffee donors, thank you, Heather H. in Houston. You are so awesome. She is by far my biggest supporter, and financially, and I know I've got fans out there. I don't like to call them fans, or just people that like to watch, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, she is something else. So if you're a believer, pray that the Lord blesses her in return for that. And Cindy, thank you so much for your donation. I appreciate that. And Anon, I guess they didn't want to be named, so I will leave their name at Anon, even though I do have a way to check, but I respect anyone's wish to be an Anon. So, and Dan, thank you very much, Dan. I appreciate that. And Jennifer, Jenny Manchester, thank you so much. I appreciate that as well. Thank you guys for your donation, and I will put it to good use. Patreon, I got some new Patreon supporters. Woohoo! Christine Daly, Lisa Brower, Rhonda Lizama, and JS. So that is it for now. Anyway, I'm gonna have to check and make sure that I haven't missed anyone, because I would never want to do that. I love you guys. I appreciate everything you do. I appreciate your prayers, your support, your encouragement, more than you can ever know. And I know I always say that, but I really mean it from my heart. I appreciate you guys. And you know what? Right now, I don't know, after I wrote that note last night on my channel, just so many of you wrote really encouraging things, and just that you were praying, and I found that so touching and so comforting. So I thank you very, very much for that. You guys are so awesome. I always tell people I've got the best listeners, and my mom always says, like, I'll tell her things and she says, wow, they are such nice people. And I said, yes, they are. They're very, very nice people. So I feel blessed to have you guys, and I feel humbled, and I appreciate you very much. So that is it for tonight. Now, I know tomorrow is going to be a very, very busy day. I've got 4 hours in traveling, and I'm going to stay with my mother as long as I can after her surgery. But I am planning on doing a show, but that doesn't mean that I'll be able to. It just depends on how everything goes at the hospital. I don't know. I'm going to do my very, very best to do my shows regularly, whether it means taking my stuff to the hospital. You know, you might get me at the hospital on my little camera on my, instead of this whole setup. But I'm sure that you guys it won't matter to you. So anyway, I am going to leave it there for tonight. Thank you so much. You guys stay safe, stay well, stay blessed. My bra strap is showing. My gosh, I'm a brazen hussy. Anyway, that is it. And you guys stay safe, stay well, stay blessed, and keep seeking truth. And don't desert me, because I'm really gonna do my best to hang in there and get my shows done, because on a regular schedule. So, all right. Good night, guys. Oops, forgot what I was doing here. See, I'm really